Hi, it's Janet Clare. I'm going to introduce my new collection, Bon Voyage, to you. And it was really inspired by the last couple of years we've had where we've all been unable to travel. And I've been very fortunate that I have travelled quite a bit and I absolutely love it. I think it's one of the most inspiring things you can do, and it reinvigorates and it gives you lots of energy. And of course, we've all been at home. So I have been daydreaming about travel and collecting lots of resources, lots of souvenirs, and I'm going to show them to you now. It's all about the golden age of travel. So it's rose tinted. It is not about passport control, visas, queuing, trying to get to the airport in time, the 3-hour wait, blah, 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 blah. It's all the beautiful, lovely stuff. I'm going to share some of my inspiration with you now. I do love to go thrift shopping. We do a lot of car boots as well, car boot sales, and I have gathered some treasures over the years. This is a little chap called Walter, and he was lucky enough to go to Germany and Holland with a school trip, and he kept the most beautiful scrapbook. Look at that, luggage labels, collected things from the bars, and he kept lots of souvenirs and took lots of photographs. So that's really inspiring, and this is all black and white, and it's all really unattainable and sweet and nostalgic. Lovely postcards, and these are some of my absolute favorites. This man worked for Cartered Seeds and obviously collected all the stamps and the airmails and the postmarks that came in to his office. So this is where I got the airmail stripe from, and we've made a stamp print so you can see where my ideas start to build up. Aren't they delightful? Really beautiful, soft, faded colour palette. Again, rose tinted, nostalgic. And then, of course, beautiful maps. Because if you're going to travel and explore, then you need a map. So this is a really, really old, faded, pretty map of the UK, which is not going to unfold nicely on camera. Look at that. So again, this is where I got my colour palette from. I've kept my indigos, but I have introduced a really soft green and little touches of pink just to get that rose tint in. So when I've gathered my inspiration, I always move on to a sketchbook, and as you know, I absolutely adore my sketchbooks. This one, I chose a really small, sweet little thing, and I had such a clear idea of what I wanted the collection to be like. I knew I didn't need a great big sketchbook to work through, so this one's really cute. I was originally going to call it Wanderlust, but Bon Voyage is more exotic and glamorous, I feel, so we've gone with Bon Voyage. And I literally start with some mood boards, start gathering inspirational images from magazines, and start building a colour palette from there. And sometimes it comes together really quickly, sometimes it takes a long time. This one was quick. I started looking at the what do you call them, the markings on maps which tell you where things are. So there's a boundary marker, fabric design, and I've also built up a design using the Footpath and Bridle Ways signs as well. And then I started thinking about building a randomised map, city skylines, starting to think about the city blocks here. Every venture requires first step. Starting to think more about washes and then drawings on top. This all happens over the space of a few weeks, so although I know it builds, I actually give a lot of time to myself to digest an idea and let it develop quietly on its own. You sort of carry it around on your shoulder. This is places of interest, like the getaway is what we all want. Colour palettes. This is the first sighting of the river. Here we go with the city blocks. Starting to think how you can use it, starting to think about souvenirs that you bring back, how you would gather those, airmail stripes to send letters home. So you can see how it all starts to build. And then these are the first doodles I did for the the fabric with the landmarks all over it, and that's probably when the whole collection was fully formed, when I sort of grasped onto that idea. You can see how I started playing with colour palettes. So there you go. That is my Bon Voyage sketchbook. So, inspiration, sketchbook, real drawings and paintings, and I still don't design on the computer. I like to draw and paint, so that's what I turn into Moda, and they work really hard to develop my original ideas into the fabric that we all see. So it's always a bit of a conversation, and when I get my drawings back, because I physically send them in, when I get my drawings back, they've always got little notes from the design team and the guys in Japan, and it's really sweet to see how that is a team effort for building the collection together. So these are my original drawings, and I tend to draw them at a scale that's comfortable to me to actually do them, and then leave little notes as to whether we want to change the scale on the actual fabric. So these are the bucket list. I've been to a few of them actually. I'm very lucky, but there's still lots of places to go. This is the boundary marker. You can see here we decided that the lines were too heavy. This is the city block, and you can see we started playing around with the colour combinations, what would work. Love being in the forest in amongst quiet nature, so there's that. And for the river, we decided which way we wanted to run. And then this is how I build my stripes. It used to be a knitwear designer, and this is how knitwear designers design stripes, so that's just the way I do it. And I actually wrap yarn around card to build the stripe in the proportion, and then I decided I wanted it on the diagonal to be an ML. So there you go, that's the next stage in the process. And then when we've agreed between us all what we're going to develop and go onto the fabric, we then have the anxious wait for strike-offs, as you know. And next thing I'm going to show you is the actual real fabric. Very exciting day when the strike-offs arrive. We have so many samples to choose from. We have to narrow it down, and we have to do it as quickly as possible. The wait is over. We have real yardage. So this is my sample yardage. I get 5 yards to make all the quilts and to help that design process along, and I find it quite hard to design from just my drawings or a JPEG image of the fabric design. I like the real fabric in front of me, and I'm sure lots and lots of the designers are the same. So this selection is quite the pale selection, and I've just chosen the ones with a little hint of pink in, which I think is the unique point for this collection for me. It's got my indigos, it's got my blues in, it's obviously on a cream ground. These are all quite a regular feature of my fabrics, but this got the nostalgic, the sweet, lovely, warm glow about it. This is the colour palette. So there's lots and lots of building stripes, lots of ditzies, lots of things you can do and how you can combine them. And I was thinking about little postcard exchanges with the stamps and the airmail. You can obviously make things to travel with, lots of purses and pouches. And then with this bucket list quilt fabric, I thought it would be lovely to fussy cut those. We've got lots of space around the images, so you can fussy cut them round and do some crazy quilting, put some borders on, embroider when you are lucky enough to be in China and Australia, and hopefully that will build something that you can then travel with and daydream about and just have lots of wishful thinking for going away on your holidays, vacations. So there you go. So that is the sweet collection. And the selfish quote is, every adventure requires a first step. And isn't that just true? So I've got my fabric, and now it's time to hit the computer and design some quilts. These live in my head. I've often got lots of quilt designs or little blocks drawn on graph paper that are just waiting for the right combination of idea and fabric, and these are the ones that I designed for Bon Voyage. The first one is called Posh, P-O-S-H, which you have to sing, and I hope you've all seen the film it's from. Port out, starboard home, and I wanted a quilt that looked posh and intricate and sophisticated, and I went for the green and the indigo colour palette. It's a lovely quilt to do as a workshop, and it's a real skill builder. So there is a foundation pieced mariner's compass in the centre, and it's surrounded by log cabins, and I've put them on point so they just look really, really striking. And the next quilt is inspired by Trip Around the World, the postage stamp quilts. I've called it Globe Trotter. There is a globe in the centre, well, my idea of a globe, and it has got very large curved piecing. So again, if your quilt shops fancy doing some teaching around that quilt, that's a lovely thing to do. Lots of people are worried about curved piecing. These are nice and big, you've only got to make a few blocks, and again you get a really, really striking quilt that uses an awful lot of the colours and the prints in the fabric collection. And the last quilt I designed is called Mountain Time, and I actually really, really like being out in the fresh air in quiet spaces. So I wanted to include a quilt that had that feeling about it, and I'm absolutely obsessed with delectable mountain blocks. They're really, really good fun to make. If you can make a half square triangle, you can make a delectable mountain block, and they are so striking. So the Mountain Time quilt has got mountain ranges and lovely foggy mornings and peaks to climb, and it's just a really lovely, lovely quilt to get stuck into and create. So that's Bon Voyage. I hope you all enjoy it as much as I have enjoyed creating it and daydreaming about travel. It's been an absolute pleasure. And now I must dash, darlings, because I've got a plane to catch. I'm off to Madeira and I'm running late.